Hey guys, YouTube Boy 100 here, and as promised, here's my first Christmas review. Here's my review of Home Alone from 1990. So yeah, this is a really good movie. You all know. Yeah, it stars Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, and John Hurd, Robert Blossom, and Catherine O'Hara. Yeah, it was written and produced by John Hughes, directed by Chris Columbus. Thought they did a really good job with this movie. And yeah, I mean, yeah, just yeah, this is a great movie here. And there was great music in this by, of course, John Williams. John Williams, greatest composer ever. Yeah, yeah. This, setting the trap music, it's really great in this movie, and a lot of the music in this movie is really good. And yeah, this is a like I said, this is an awesome movie here. I give this movie 3 stars out of 4 with the 4-star rating system. Alright, let me just jump into this review. Alright, movie starts off where it's black and the credits are starting to roll through the opening, and then has it back so we see the blue house, and then we see the words Home Alone coming in from the opposing sides, and the house in between, and then a light flashes in the house, and then it zooms out of the title, and then we cut to the actual movie, as the entire McAllister family is running around all over the place, as Harry, played by Joe Pesci, is dressed as a cop. He's trying to talk to everybody, but they're just running around all over the place. And then we go to the parents' room, where Kevin, played by Macaulay Culkin, he's complaining that he doesn't get to watch a movie with everyone else. And that his uncle is just being a jerk about it. And then Harry continues to try to talk to people know about the house, but everyone else that he talks to is just Kevin's cousins. And so they don't know anything about the house, really. And Kevin gets all worried that he was not going to be able to go on the trip they're going to go to Paris for the holidays. Because he doesn't know how to pack his own suitcase, and then all of his brothers and sisters are getting after him, saying he's helpless and he's just lazy, and that he's gonna need to sleep on hide a bed with his cousin, and he might wet the bed. And then he starts to throw a tantrum about it. Then he goes to his brother Buzz's room. Buzz, played by Devin Ratray. And Buzz is just a complete jerk to Kevin all the time. Kevin asks him if he can sleep in his room. But yeah, Buzz says that he wouldn't let him even if Kevin was growing on his ass. And then Buzz talks to their cousin Rod about the old guy that lives in their neighborhood. And his name's Old Man Marley, who's played by Robert Blossom. And he tells Rod about what he's known for, that he murdered his family and the people on his block with a snow shovel in '58. And he didn't get arrested for it because the cops never found any evidence about it. And what he does now is he walks up and down the streets every night salting sidewalks. He was telling Rod that the garbage can he carried with salt is where he kept all his victims that he murdered, and the salt would turn them into mummies. And they were nervous about getting seen by him, so Buzz, Rod, and Kevin, they just shut the curtain of the window as soon as he saw them. And then later on, they were having dinner. They all were having pizza. And the mom wanted to get rid of the milk that they had in the fridge, so she was pouring glasses of milk. And Kevin was looking for his own personal cheese pizza, but Buzz, turns out, ate it. And then he saw his cousin Fuller, who was the one who wets the bed. He saw him drinking Pepsi, so he knew that he was going to wet the bed. And so that pissed him off. And then he went going after Buzz for eating his pizza, and they knocked over the glasses of milk that were poured, and they got all over the plane tickets and passports that they had for their trip to Paris. So they were cleaning it up, and everyone got after Kevin. They were all just staring at him, and then they sent him upstairs. And his brother Jeff called him a disease. And then Harry finally got to talk to the mom about where they were going, and that they were hoping to leave tomorrow morning. And then as the mom was going upstairs with Kevin, Harry was telling her that her home's in good hands. And so, yeah, the mom put Kevin on the 3rd floor, and Kevin told her that he didn't want to sleep with Fuller because he wet the bed and he knew he was going to pee all over him. So the mom told her that they would put Fuller somewhere else in the bed tonight. Right, and then Kevin said that he didn't want to see his family ever again. And then as he was just laying on the bed, he was thinking that he would wish they would all disappear. And so over that night there was a big windstorm, and it knocked over a tree branch, and that killed the power of the house. So all the clock alarms and everything, they were all just turned off. And as the airport van drivers came to their house, no one was answering the door. And the mom woke up and she saw that the clock was put out. And then she looked at her watch and it was late. And so the family was rushing all over the place. They was trying to get ready as quick as they could. But then when they got to the airport, they were running all the way to the gate of where their plane was, and they just barely made it on time. And then Kevin woke up and he saw that he was alone in the house, and he was trying to figure out what happened. And when he saw that the 2 family cars were still in the garage of the house, he assumed that they didn't go to the airport because the cars were there. He didn't know that they took vans. And so he just figured that he made the family disappear. And so he was starting to party, and he looked through Buzz's his chest of stuff he had, and then Buzz had a Playboy magazine in there. He had firecrackers, and Kevin saw a picture of his girlfriend, and she was ugly as crap, so he destroyed the picture. And then he saw Buzz's BB gun hanging above his bed, so Kevin got 4 sport figures, and he shot them down a laundry chute and a spatula also. And then he was watching a movie called Angels with Filthy Souls. These 2 guys, Johnny and Snakes. And then in that film, Johnny was telling Snakes that he was going to blow him away, pump his guts full of lead, by shooting him. And as he was shooting him, Kevin covered his eyes. And he wanted Mom back. After Johnny finally killed Snakes, he paused the movie and he shouted, "Mom." And then later on on the plane, the 2 parents, they were just talking to each other. The mom could sense it, tell that they forgot to do something. And she was asking the dad asking if he did things like if he locked up and did he close the garage, and he thought that was what. And then the mom said no, and the dad asked what else they could have been forgetting. Kevin, and later on, how could they? And then Kevin's uncle, a complete just, "Makes you feel better, I forgot my reading glasses." So then Harry, and they were looking at the neighborhood of houses there. And Harry showed Marv Kevin's house, and they were gonna try to break in. They had their crowbars, but Kevin could see them walking by one of the windows, so he ran over to the garage. Not the garage, the basement. Yeah, they were gonna try to break in through the basement, and Kevin had a light on. And so Harry and Marv, they got out, and then Kevin was hiding under a bed. And then the family later arrived in Paris, And then they were trying to Kevin and try to get a flight back over to, and the mom was trying to get the other kids and the aunt and uncle to try to call their street for help. And then Kevin would be afraid because he was the man of the house and he has to look after it. So he walked out of his house and he said that he wasn't afraid anymore, and he just kept saying it. And then old man Marley eventually approached right up to him, and Kevin was just looking right up at him, and he screamed and ran back into the house. And he ran back upstairs, and he was running towards us, towards the camera, and he ran back into the room and hid under the covers. And then the mom eventually contacted the police department, and they said they would send a policeman to the house to check on Kevin. And the policeman arrived, and he kept knocking on the door, but Kevin didn't answer. He just kept hiding under the covers. And then the dad told the mom that there was no flight at all, everything was gone. And so the dad suggested that they would go over to his brother's house and wait for the next flight, which was in 2 days. And the mom refused. She said that she wasn't going to leave unless it was on an airplane. And so one of the flight attendants told her that if she wanted to stay, that they would get her on a standby. And so the mom stayed at the airport while everyone else left to go over to Dad's brother's house. And then Kevin later on he just got out of a shower and he was grooming himself. He was combing his hair, he putting deodorant on, and then he put some aftershave on. And right when he put him on like this, he started to scream because it just burned so bad. And then he was in Buzz's room again. He saw something on one of Buzz's shelves. So he was climbing up Buzz's shelf, and they gave out and they all broke, and Kevin and all the stuff that was on Buzz's shelves and the shelves themselves, they all fell down. And then Kevin saw what was in that box that he was trying to get, and it was Buzz's life saving, so he took it all. And went out. And when everything on the shelves fell, Buzz's pet tarantula escaped, and so the tarantula was crawling around the house, and throughout the movie we saw some shots of it just crawling all over the place. Nice. And then Harry and Marv were staying at another family's house because they went away to Florida, so they were staying over there. And then that family's phone got a message from the dad saying that they were in Paris, and he was saying what was going on. And so Harry and Marv found out that they were gone, so they were gonna go over to the house tonight. And then Kevin was at a store. He was trying to buy a toothbrush. He was asking if it was approved by the American Dental Association, and none of the clerks knew. They were trying to ask someone else if it was, and no one knew. And then old man Marley stepped up to that counter. Kevin looked up to him again, and he backed up, and he ran out of the store. And then the clerk told one of the employees to chase after him and to stop him. And as Kevin left the store, that other employee at the store told the cop what Kevin was doing. So the cop was starting to chase Kevin, and Kevin slid down some ice, and the cop tripped, so Kevin escaped. And he was just like, I'm a criminal, because he was shoplifting. And then as Harry and Marv were just driving forward, or complaining because Marv came up with a nickname for themselves. They were calling themselves the Wet Bandits, and Harry was calling him Sick, and they were just arguing back and forth. Marv was saying he wasn't, and Harry was saying he was. And as they were pulling up, Kevin was walking right in front of them, and they put on the brakes, and it was just like not even a millimeter away from Kevin, and Kevin was screaming because of how close it was. And then Harry and Marv were telling him that he has to watch out. And Kevin could recognize who Harry was because of his gold tooth shining, which it was earlier when the mom was talking to him. And so Harry and Marv were trying to follow Kevin to see what house he was going into. And so Kevin hid at a church display thing. And Harry and Marv just left. And later that night they came to the house. They saw that it was pretty much a party inside, because Kevin had set up a bunch of mannequins and stuff he was controlling them like they were puppets. And then Harry and Marv were saying that they would come back tomorrow. Maybe they'll be gone by then. And then we continued to see the family in Paris at the dad's brother's apartment. And the dad was continuing to try to look for Kevin. And then Buzz was telling one of the sisters that he's not really worried about Kevin because of the stuff that they have over at their house. Then later on, Kevin ordered a pizza and the pizza guy came up. Kevin didn't want the pizza guy to know that he was alone, so he was playing the Angels with Filthy Souls film again, having Johnny say some of the lines from that movie, and the pizza guy would respond to it. And then Kevin tricked the pizza guy by having the gunshots, playing the gunshots part, and the pizza guy ran off and drove away. And the mom was still trying to get on another flight. And so she bribed this couple to let her go on that plane that it was on. And then the next morning we saw Kevin groom himself again, do the same thing, comb his hair, deodorant, aftershave, scream. And then Kevin later go grocery shopping. And as he was walking back home, the grocery bags gave out and all the groceries just fell to the ground. And then Harry and Marv came back to the house, and it looked like there was nobody home, and something wasn't right because of what they were seeing just last night. So Marv went up to the house to try to check it out, and then Marv's shoe fell through the doggy door. And Kevin saw that, so he played the Angels with Filthy Souls tapes again, and it was playing the conversation between Johnny and Snakes, and Marv could hear the whole thing. And to make the gunshots sound more realistic, Kevin lit up some firecrackers and put them in a pot, and then they exploded. And so Marv ran off, and he was telling Harry what was going on, what he heard. And Harry was saying that they should wait to see who it was and who was firing that, because they would think it would be good if they had a face to go with their questions if they ever got caught. And so the mom eventually was in Scranton, and she was still trying to get a flight to Chicago. And the attendant was telling her that everything was full and there really was nothing else they could do. And so then a guy named a polka musician named Gus Polinski, who's played by the late John Candy, rest in peace, he was telling her that they had a crisis themselves because their flight to Milwaukee was canceled, so they had to drive, and they were saying that since Chicago was on the way to Milwaukee, they would drop her off at her house. And then Kevin would eventually get a Christmas tree from outside, and Harry and Marv figured out that Kevin lived in that house, and they were saying that they'd come back at night around 9 o'clock because it would be dark. And then Kevin would later go to a guy who was being a Santa, and he was telling him that he wants his family back. And the Santa guy was saying that he'd see what he could do. And then Kevin would eventually go to church, listen to a choir singing, and then Old Man Marley would approach him again. But Old Man Marley was showing him that he was a nice guy, and that stuff Buzz was talking about wasn't true. And they were having a conversation about why they were there, and Old Man Marley was telling Kevin about his son, and that they hadn't spoken to each other. And Kevin was telling him that he should call, see if he would talk to him or not, and if he didn't, that he would at least know and not worry, could stop worrying about it and not be afraid anymore. And then Kevin would left the church at around at 8 o'clock, and he could hear the chimes going off. He knew he only had an hour left to prepare for Marv and Harry. So he raced back home, and he set up some traps for Harry and Marv around the house. He set up some micro machines. He put some water on the front door steps. He put some hot thing over the front door handle. He watered the basement stairs. He put some tar on the inside basement stairs. He set up a nail on them, on those stairs also. He set up a rope from the house to a tree house. He set up a plastic wrap with some glue on it. He set up a fan with feathers. He set up some ornaments just in front of a window. He set up some paint cans. And then Harry and Marv arrived at the house. They said they were going to try to go through the back door. And then inside, the clock struck 9 o'clock. So Kevin ran over to the back door, got the gun, and said, "This is it. Don't get scared now." And then Harry and Marv came to the back door. They were trying to get Kevin to let them in. They were saying they were Santa and an elf. And then Kevin stuck the gun through the dog door, shot Harry in either the leg, the groin, the nuts, I don't know. He shot him somewhere around there. And Harry was going crazy because it hurt. And then Marv stuck his head in the door. And he saw Kevin with the gun. He just smiled. Kevin said, "Hello," and shot Marv right between the eyes. Marv said the jerk was armed. And so they decided to split up. Harry went over to the front and Marv went to the basement. And as Harry stepped on the stairs, because there was water on him, he slipped and fell back. Then Marv stepped on the basement stairs and also slipped and fell down. And as he was trying to get back up, he slipped down again. And then Harry was trying to go up the stairs again, but he was holding on to the handles on the side, but he fell again. Then Marv eventually got inside through the basement, and yeah, he saw a light, tried to turn on, but it was attached to an iron, so when he tried to click, the iron fell down the garbage chute and hit Marv in the face. Marv fell down, put his head up, and you could see the mark from the iron that was on his face. Then Harry finally succeeded to get up the front stairs. He tried to get in. He put his hand on the doorknob because of that hot thing on the inside. It burned Harry's hand, and he fell back down. And then you could see the mark on his hand from the doorknob. There was an M on the actual doorknob, M for McAllister, and that was on his hand. And then Marv was going up the inside stairs, and because the tar was so sticky, both his shoes and his socks stuck to the stairs, so Marv got barefoot. And as he was stepping up, he stepped on that nail, and it went in his foot. But so Marv fell back, and the nail remained in his foot. And then Harry went back to the back door, and he opened it, but there was a blowtorch attached to it. And it blew fire to Harry's head, and Harry went crazy. And then the top of his head, you could see the burning. And then Harry would eventually get inside, and Kevin was in the kitchen. Harry was just outside. He said that he was going to get Kevin, and Kevin was like, "Okay, come and get me." And then Harry opened up the door, and then there was the plastic wrap with glue, got him in the face. Harry pulled it off, and then he walked right through into the fan with feathers and blew all over him. Then once he got out of the basement, he went in through the window that had the ornaments on the other side on the floor. Marv didn't see them, so he just stepped in, and his feet came right on the ornaments, and there was like a sharp some sharp stars and Christmas lights, and they all got to his feet. And Marv just shouted, "I'm gonna kill that kid." And then Harry and Marv met back up with each other. Harry said that, no, well, yeah, Harry was like, "Why'd you take your shoes off?" And Marv's like, "Why are you just like a chicken?" And Kevin said that he was upstairs. And then as Harry and Marv were walking over to the stairs, they slipped over those micro machines and fell down. And Kevin said, "You guys give up or you're thirsty for more?" And then Harry and Marv were climbing up the stairs. Kevin threw down those paint cans. First one, Harry ducked and it hit Marv, and Marv fell back off the stairs. And then the second one got Harry, and he fell on top of Marv. And Marv told Harry that he was missing some teeth, and it turned out it was his gold tooth. And then Harry knew he was gone. He was like, "Where's my gold tooth? My gold tooth! I'm gonna kill him." And then Kevin called the cops, said they were over at that house that Harry and Marv were staying over at. And so, yeah. And then Kevin set up a tripwire. Harry tripped over it, and as Kevin was running upstairs to the third floor, Marv was able to grab Kevin's leg, but Kevin saw the tarantula, so he grabbed it and put it on Marv's face. Marv went crazy. It went on Harry's stomach. Marv tried to kill it. He was trying to hit it with a crowbar, but the spider got out of the way, and so Marv only hit Harry's gut with it. And then Kevin slid across that rope to the tree house. And then Harry and Marv saw that Kevin was in the tree house, so they were trying to go get to him also. And then when Harry and Marv were about halfway to the tree house, Kevin cut the rope with hedge clippers. And then Kevin ran over to the house, and then Harry and Marv outsmarted him. They went another way than when Kevin did. Kevin went down through the cellar and into the house. And Harry and Marv were saying that they were going to do everything that Kevin did to them, to Kevin. But then Old Man Marley was also in the house, and he hit both of them with the snow shovel. And Old Man Marley took Kevin home, and the cops arrived and they arrested Harry and Marv. And as they were driving off, Harry looked into Kevin's house and he saw Kevin there. Kevin waved to him. And then there was a scene where the mom was just telling Gus Polinski how she felt about leaving Kevin home. She was calling herself a bad parent, and then Gus was telling the mom about how they were with their kids. And he was telling her that he left one in a funeral home once and he was alone all day with a corpse. And the next morning it was Christmas. Kevin woke up. He saw that there was no one home. And right when he checked the front door after he closed it, the mom arrived. The truck came up to the house. The mom got home. And then Kevin would run up to her and hug her. And he was asking where everyone else was. And the mom was telling them that they couldn't come. And then the whole family got home. They just walked in through the front door. And both Kevin and the mom were. And they said that they took that flight that they were waiting for. And Kevin was telling them what he did while they were gone. Just went shopping and hung around. And then the dad found Harry's gold tooth that came out when he was hit with the paint can. And then Kevin looked outside. He saw Old Man Marley with his son and his family. He hugged his granddaughter. Old Man Marley waved to Kevin. Kevin waved to Old Man Marley. And then he saw them walking off. And then Buzz saw what happened to his room and he yelled, "Kevin, what did you do to my room?" And Kevin ran off. And that was the end of the movie. Yeah, so yeah, Home Alone was a good movie there. Yeah, as I said, 3 stars out of 4. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.